Ask any entrepreneur. They will tell you that what they hate the most about the job is selling. I personally know how scary this can be. Before I launched my own social media company, I was a commission-only salesperson selling TV and radio, with several other sales jobs before that. Although the sales world can be brutal, the process as an entrepreneur doesn't have to be. Let's be honest, selling isn't easy, but we do have to have at least some process in place to bring new customers our way. So as business owners, we're going to have to get to a point where we play the game if we want to win. So here's my thoughts. You can do it the old-fashioned way and stumble through the process, or you can listen to this video and learn how to sell without selling. Let's go. Now, I've worked with a lot of clients in my 20 plus years in the workforce. For a while, I served as an account executive, like I mentioned, paid by commission only for 4 years, selling TV and radio ads in my city. Before that, I worked as a sales and catering manager, and before that, I worked as somebody who was looking to sell tourism to my city. Now, those are jobs that'll give you some thick skin, let me tell you. But in my life as an entrepreneur, I do not have the same time, effort, or energy to go door knocking. So what I've done is I've mixed my sales background with some practical automations, and seriously, I have more business than me and my team can handle. I am receiving new leads every single week, and I'm doing nothing to get this business coming my way. The best part of it is I'm not salesy at all. Quite the opposite, actually. I'm not uncomfortable with sales calls or talking about my business. I have this sense of confidence because these tools are doing the work for me. So what are these tools? Let's jump in. The first tool is my website. You see, my website is my 24/7 salesperson. It was curated and designed to do the selling for me. It's where we house our services, it's where we have our starting prices listed, and where somebody is even able to submit a form and set up a call with me. I never actually even have to talk to this person to get that done. It's really amazing. You see, you too can have a 24/7 salesperson with your website by showcasing your work, your own creative branding, your own message to the world, and by having easy to use automations so people can act now, no matter what time of day it is. I often wake up with appointment notifications that someone has booked their consultation with me, and I literally had to do nothing to score that appointment. If you want to see what our site looks like, I will list the URL in the comments so you can take a look. The second tool that I lean on to do the selling for me is reviews and testimonials. These can do a lot of the selling for you. So you guys know the whole TikTok made me do it thing? That is exactly the concept here. If somebody were thinking about buying, but they weren't sure about the product or service, if it was actually valuable, seeing a positive review can give them the reassurance that it is a good purchase, and it can give them the confidence to buy. A positive review addresses the objections. It assures the potential buyer that the product actually performs and does all that it claims to. In a sense, reviews and testimonials build a lot of trust. And that's because someone leaving a review is kind of a big deal. I mean, think about it. How many times have you been to a restaurant or tried a product or enjoyed yourself in a sales experience, but not so much that you took the time out of your day to leave a good review? It seldom happens. The fact that someone liked the product or service so much that they took their precious time to sing praises is a big deal. And similarly, testimonials that speak toward the process of working with you invites others to put themselves in the shoes of the person writing. Take this testimonial a client wrote for my agency. Mariposa is mission-driven and run by a brilliant team who understands the ins and outs of both teaching and executing on support for your marketing needs and beyond. Lorene and team are masterful as global thinkers and creators who are passionate about acting and supporting locally. That, my friends, are praises I never had to say myself, but somebody did the selling for me. I promise you, I'm not just here to toot my own horn. I really do have a point to make with this. So, how do you get more reviews? Well, it's simple. You ask. Anytime that you have the opportunity to work with someone, ask for a review. One thing though, make sure that you know you did a really good job first. Be specific about what you want the review to say. Here's a few questions you can ask your customers or clients to include in their review. Number 1, what was your problem or situation before we worked together? Number 2, how did our services help you to overcome that challenge? And then lastly, What are the quantifiable results that I have to prove we did a good job for you? And there you have it. You will have a list of reviews that you can even include as a PDF in email exchanges when a sales conversation presents itself. It's just gold. The next one is referrals. Ask for referrals or become part of a referral network. This may sound kind of intimidating or old-fashioned, but trust me, it really pays off. And here is how the referral process works. Through a networking group or by meeting other business owners, you can create what we call strategic alliances to send business to each other. Think about the other services your clients may need. For example, financial services, legal services, business consulting, etc. When you have these alliances, you simply ask to exchange business, and business is simply sent your way. It's really that simple. Quick side note, the closing ratio on referral-based connections is so much higher because somebody's word did a lot of the selling for you. This means that a lot of time and energy was saved to acquire this new client. These relationships really matter. The conversation could go something like, I'm so glad to have met a CPA. I've wanted to have someone in my back pocket that I can send business to and vice versa. Can I get a business card so we can stay connected? And guess what? When you actually start to send people to this business, they will send business back. It's crazy, but that's just how it works. Think of yourself as the walking solution bringer. Like, I've got a guy for that. Even if you can't solve someone's problem, but you know someone who can, you are seen as the solution bringer, and that, my friends, is a very good thing. The next tool that I use to do the selling for me is providing free value. Provide free value that will lead to a sale. Your knowledge and expertise is very valuable, but not everybody will understand it at first. Sometimes you have to develop trust before you can make the sale, and that means offering expertise or otherwise providing potential clients with value for free. This works really well via email. If you have a list of folks whom have opted in to receive emails from you, you can start by sending them valuable content for free. And then, once you build credibility, you can start to try to sell them in these emails because the client is warm. They now trust you a little bit more because they have been receiving your content already. You can also do this on social media. Post reels with insider tips. Debunk social media marketing myths for your followers to see. And when a prospective client is scrolling through your feed, they'll be able to see that you are an authority on the subject. And since you gave them this content for free, there's automatically trust there. You could also use this sales tactic when you have someone who is unsure about moving forward. What if you offered some sample social content at no charge with no strings attached so somebody could see your work or an example of it? Deliver this and see what happens. The next tactic I use to sell without selling is my own work. Let your work speak for itself. This is probably one of the easiest things that you can do to bolster your reputation and solidify your credibility in your industry. Every bit of work that you do and every bit of analytical proof you have that your work helps someone, save it, compile it, put it on your website as a case study, and share it on your social media pages. That compilation of all your best work is a handy portfolio to have ready to send to prospective clients. Now, I know that begs the question, well, what if I'm just starting out and I don't have a lot of work to show people? This is a great question. If you have no real work to put in a portfolio, you can always create work on spec, which means that you compose a social media strategy for a brand even though they didn't ask you to, or you create a brand book for a made-up pet store, for example, or you design a landing page for your favorite local bakery. The list goes on and on. You see, the point is not to create these and then send them off to brands asking to work with them, although that's not completely unheard of, but to let these pieces of your expertise shine on your website for prospective clients to see. Of course, if you do this, you'll need to very clearly specify that it's spec work. But when clients are looking to work with you, seeing the quality of your work and the extent of your creativity, this could be a deciding factor. They might look at your work versus a competitor who may be very experienced but failed to create a portfolio that let their work speak for itself. The other thing that you could do, and hear me out on this one, is do some pro bono work for a bit to build that portfolio. Find a customer who you know you can help, make that connection, and start working with them for free for an agreed temporary amount of time. That is exactly what I did many months before I quit my full-time job to start my own social media agency. I did this to build credibility and it worked. This is always an option for you to do. And I don't want you to overlook it because it can be a really cool way to give back to a business that you know and love, or maybe one that's even struggling. The next tool you're going to lean on to do your selling for you is your cadence and your confidence. It's all about how you carry yourself. This is really a mindset thing. And here's my way of seeing things. I am not afraid of the word no. When a door closes or doesn't pan out, I'm good with it. And in some ways, I'm grateful because if we weren't a good fit in the initial stages, who's to say we would have been a good fit for this client in the long term? Just me personally, I also believe that you can be conditioned to hear the word no with zero emotions attached. It's cool. If you truly want what's best for the customer and you know that you are not necessarily the best option for them, then you are at peace with the fact that you never actually work together. This makes sales so much lighter. I also don't pressure people to make decisions they aren't ready for, because then I feel like I'm constantly pulling them to keep up with the marketing strategy that we've put in place. I need people who are ready to jump in and willing to jump into a partnership with me and with my agency. So I let them know, and we wait until they give us the green light. And if we don't get it, well, we just take it as they really weren't ready, and that's okay. And honestly, there's also something interesting when someone feels like you're not desperate for their business and that they have full autonomy for their own business decisions. It's like an immediate weight off your shoulder and it puts you on an equal playing field. I don't know about you, but the last thing that I want is to work with someone who sees our services as under them, or someone who wants us to be there in a hierarchy type of relationship where we are under them and not placed alongside them. Instead, we want leveled partnerships with people, and there's a certain confidence that comes with that. In other ways, we are also vetting customers as well, and that turns a sales conversation into a conversation between two business people and not just someone shopping around for our services. We want to make sure that it's a good fit as well. Now, I know that all of this selling without selling stuff sounds easy in theory, or it may be tricky to master in practice, especially if you're new working with clients. But do keep in mind that if you are starting out as a social media management business, it's going to take time, and these conversations will get easier as time goes on. When you truly believe that you are solving somebody's problem, you're much more confident in speaking with them about it. So when you have a prospective client, make sure you are really listening to them. What problem do they have? What is their industry like? Who are their competitors? This is all really important information. Now, knowing all that, what creative, exciting solutions can you offer? When you get this question, trying to sell your service to a prospective client becomes not only easy, but exciting and invigorating. You get to flex your creative muscles and show them who they are working with and what brilliant ideas you have to bring to the table. And really, that's all selling is or has to be. Having a casual, organic conversation about your client's problems and responding naturally with the solutions that you can provide. Prospective clients don't come knocking at your door for no reason. They want you to solve a problem, and they want to discuss what the solutions could possibly look like. But with all that said, here's the kicker. You could have a beautiful, productive conversation with the prospective client and feel certain that they'll want to work with you, and they could still say no. This will happen, so don't be afraid of it. And it's important to not take things like this personally when they do occur. There are a myriad of reasons why somebody may choose not to work with you, and many of them are completely out of your control. So it's best to just let it go and move on. Welcome every single no as one answer closer to yes. My business coach has taught me something so valuable. I've used it for years. Here it goes. Some will, some won't. So what? Move on. It's that simple. Don't get attached to these sales conversations. So I hope that this helped answer the impossible question of how do I sell without selling, and demystified the process of selling your service to clients. It's really not as difficult or as scary as you think. And in fact, over time, it gets to be pretty fun. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more business and sales tips for social media managers. I'm so happy you're here. Until next time.